In the late 1980s, a line of bootleg Star Wars toys began to pop up in Turkey. The line was called Uzay, which means space in Turkish. Uzay modified some of their action figure names to avoid copyright entanglement. And the names weren't even slightly creative, like Space Trooper, which isn't creative either, but it's more creative than Stormtrooper or Imperial TE Fighter Pilot or C-3PO. Even the name of the product line itself, it's not just Uzay, it's Uzay Savascilari, which means Space Wars. Uzay figures were the best bootleg Star Wars figures when it came to accuracy of replication, minus the card backs, of course. Instead of movie scenes, they literally just took a picture of the figure itself. Here's Chewbacca hanging out in a fish tank, or R2-D2 hanging out in the other side of the same fish tank, or C-3PO floating in infinite yellow pondering his existence as he loses his grip with reality. But my favorite card back is by far the Imperial Gunner, because he's just playing with a calculator. There were 14 different figures, 14 different characters, a variety of card backs, minor paint differences, and weapon varieties. The two strangest action figures from Uzay are Blue Stars, which is a blue snowtrooper, and Headman, which looks like an action figure made from an overstock of random parts of other action figures. It's the Royal Guard head with a random body, random sword, and random shield. Headman is said to be the most rare of the Uzay collection, and some think it's a one-of-a-kind piece. These bootleg Star Wars toys are auctioning for more than the official Kenner line of Star Wars action figures. The rarity without a doubt plays an enormous factor into that, and just the weirdness of it all as well. People like a good story. Here's a loose vintage Kenner Chewbacca action figure going for $19.99. There are even some going for $4 or $5. And here's a loose Uzay Chewbacca going for almost $2,000. And then you have a mint on card R5-D4 going for $12,000. And for comparison, an official Kenner mint on card R5-D4 from 1979 is going for almost $1,400. That's a big difference. And a mint on card Uzay bootleg C-3PO is going for $6,500. The funniest part of all this is the fact that the bootlegs now have bootlegs. There are more bootleg Uzay action figures on eBay than real Uzay action figures. And who the hell knows if the real ones are even real? I'm sure there are experts out there who go deep with all of this shit, but really, who the hell knows? As I was looking up official vintage Star Wars toys on eBay, I noticed that some of them said repo, meaning reproduction. Even those were bootlegs. And a bunch of the real Kenner listings said the weapon that came with the action figure was a reproduction, and this was often hidden in the jumble of text. So who the hell knows about the official stuff? eBay is just a wild west of bullshitters. There's not much info out there about Uzay. It's really hard to find much of anything. Most of what I read was copied and pasted from one website to another and just included some vague information. Some websites said that Uzay was filling a void in Turkey where Kenner action figures were not being sold, but other websites said that Kenner action figures were being sold in Turkey and that Uzay figures were sold at random markets while the Kenner figures were sold at department stores. So who knows? It's a weird world we live in when a hunk of plastic and some faded cardboard that isn't even an official hunk of plastic or cardboard, but was made in some factory in Turkey by who the fuck knows in 1988, is selling for twice as much as the average American household spends on groceries a year. Weird world indeed.